Military and immigration marriage fraud. High marriage fraud risk for military. According to internal DHS investigations, military members are frequent targets of immigration marriage fraud due to their stable government income, access to fast-track citizenship benefits for spouses, frequent deployments, making it easier to claim abuse or abandonment, VAWA and military misuse. The Violence Against Women Act, VAWA, has been misused by foreign spouses who, after marrying service members, falsely claim abuse for green card protection. These claims require no proof, only a personal affidavit. Limited legal recourse for service members. Once the immigrant files under VAWA, the U.S. service member could lose all rights to submit rebuttals or evidence, even in clear cases of fraud. Increased removal proceedings involving military victims. Military personnel and veterans have increasingly submitted affidavits to USCIS and ER about being targeted for green card fraud, but their cases are often ignored or stalled. Citizenship by marriage loophole. A foreign national who marries a U.S. military member can apply for citizenship in as little as 1 year, far faster than the typical 5-year wait, making the military community a prime target for scam marriages. Uniformed and unprotected, military victims of immigration marriage fraud. Sergeant David, deployed and abandoned. Sergeant David met his foreign-born wife online while stationed overseas. After a quick courthouse wedding, she moved to the U.S. and immediately filed for her green card. Just before his deployment, she claimed he was abusive, using his pending absence as proof. She stayed in his home while he was deployed, collected support, and secured her green card through VAWA. He returned to a divorce and no legal right to speak up. Petty Officer Amanda, false police report. Amanda married a man from the Caribbean who was charming at first. Within months, he isolated her, filed a police report claiming she hit him, and moved out. She was never charged, but the accusation was enough. He filed under VAWA, secured work authorization, and ghosted her. She later learned he had done this before in another state under a different name. Lieutenant Marcus, just for papers, confession. Lieutenant Marcus was blindsided when his wife drunkenly admitted during a family gathering, "I only married you for the papers." He tried to report her to USCIS, but she had already filed a VAWA petition citing emotional abuse. Despite Marcus having recorded evidence, his hands were tied. Her petition was processed, and he was forced to pay her alimony. Specialist Jorge, chain migration after fraud. Specialist Jorge fell for a woman he met in his local community while on base. They were married within 3 months. She filed for residency, then began petitioning for her entire family once she received her green card. She filed a restraining order, accused him of verbal abuse, and left with their newborn. USCIS approved her petition. Jorge lost custody and had no legal standing to fight the fraud. Corporal Emily, forced into silence. Corporal Emily's ex-husband threatened to accuse her of domestic violence if she didn't give him money to stay in the country. When she refused, he filed under VAWA, claiming she abused him. Her command advised her to stay silent to avoid media scrutiny. He got a green card. She lost her security clearance temporarily and now suffers PTSD, not from combat, but from betrayal. Why we follow similar cases. Following similar cases is critical so that we are effectively advocating for others targeted by immigration marriage fraud, especially military victims. Here's why. Let's review 2 known federal cases in Georgia. Number 1. In Northern District of Georgia, Rex Enyenwu was convicted for arranging over 100 sham marriages, predominantly involving U.S. citizens marrying immigrants for profit. While not limited to military sponsors, the scheme demonstrates how fraudulent marriages function in Georgia. USA v. Rex Enyenwu, Northern District of Georgia 11th Circuit Appeals Court. In this case, the appellate opinion doesn't name the presiding district court judge, but notes the case was docketed and no judge name is publicly listed in appellate documents. However, Judges Hull, Wilson, and Black heard and issued the per curiam opinion in the 11th Circuit on January 2, 2015. Number 2, in Georgia in 2024, an ex-Army soldier named Andre Fulton II pled guilty to a fraudulent marriage for green card scheme. He entered a sham marriage to facilitate immigration status for an immigrant spouse and collected basic allowance for quarters and other benefits totaling over $200,000 in fraudulent funds. The United States District Court in the District of Hawaii made a ruling, despite Fulton's Georgia residence or state ties. The U.S. District Presiding Judge Jill Otake sentenced Fulton and imposed 3 months in prison, 3 years supervised release, $202,039 in restitution, and a $100 fine for theft of government money related to the fraudulent marriage and benefits scheme. These are the cases we need to follow. Patterns reveal policy failures. When you follow multiple cases, you begin to see repeat tactics. Fast-track marriages before deployment. False abuse claims timed around PCS orders or separations. VAWA filings that block the citizen from presenting evidence. These patterns highlight systemic loopholes, which can be documented and used to push for legislative reform. Collective advocacy has power. One victim is seen as anecdotal, but dozens of documented cases can be viewed as evidence in media campaigns, fuel for petitions or lobbying efforts, proof of a nationwide issue ignored by policymakers. Your voice becomes louder when it's echoing the stories of many. Case tracking builds a legal playbook. Following similar cases helps us to spot what legal strategies worked or failed, learn how VAWA and green card abuse is being challenged, connect victims with the right legal language or support resources. This knowledge makes US a valuable guide for new victims who feel lost. Victims feel less alone. Most US citizens, especially men in the military, don't talk about being used for immigration status. It's embarrassing. By following and sharing cases, you normalize the conversation. Show others they're not weak or crazy. Empower them to speak up and defend their rights. Trends help you push for reform. Tracking case volume, regions, military branches, or fraud methods creates a data-driven argument for change. For example, if 70% of military marriage fraud cases involve false abuse claims within 6 months of marriage, that's a red flag that can't be ignored. Lawmakers need that kind of specific and repeated evidence to act. I hope you find this presentation helpful, as it is always our goal to make you think broader, advocate more, and together find ways to heal and get justice in the most positive way possible, which is forward.